Natalie Ford.
I am Alfred Okansi. Coming up in the bulletin tonight.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by Deluxe Paid,
GT Bank,
and Calipo. Minority in Parliament boycott swearing in of Lydia Al-Hassan as MP for Ayawaso West Wogon.
Justice of the Supreme Court, Sophia Adenyina, warns that the Apex Court may have to license only seasoned lawyers to appear before it.
Also ahead this evening, ministers of state in charge of national security and sector minister to appear before Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee.
And the Energy Ministry blames suspension of ECG takeover on Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PRC.
On the foreign front this evening, Russia plans to develop new missile systems after both Russia and the United States suspended involvement in an arms control pact. The details of these and much more coming to you live here on News 360. Remember, you could watch us on DSTV channel 279 and Facebook. It's TV3 Ghana.
Absolutely. And let's go to our first stories this evening. If you feel strong about any of the issues we're going to be talking about, feel free to share your thoughts with us on our various social media platforms. The minority in Parliament boycotted the swearing in of the newly elected Member of Parliament for the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency over what they described as security breaches during the by-election at some polling centres in the constituency. That notwithstanding, the House went ahead and sworn in the MP-elect Lydia Seyram Al-Hassan. Evelyn Tengma has been bringing us the rest of the story.
Tuesday's proceedings began at about 10:30 a.m. The Speaker, Joseph Osewusu, read a communication for the swearing in of the MP-elect for Ayawaso West Wogon.
Submission of writ of election and declaration of results from the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency by-election. I bring you warm greetings from the Electoral Commission. I refer to your letter dated 26 November 2018, notifying the Electoral Commission of the occurrence of a vacancy in the membership of Parliament as a result of the death of Mr. Emmanuel Chiremating Ejaku. Candidate Lydia Seyram Al-Hassan of the New Patriotic Party was declared the winner after the collation of results from all the 137 polling stations in the constituency.
But Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak said the minority will not take part in it.
Unfortunately, and in commemoration to support our comrades and citizens that were unnecessarily hurt and brutally assaulted, I'm sorry to say that with your indulgence, our side of the house cannot be here to witness this swearing.
Would not be perturbed by the absence of the other side. Business will continue as usual, Mr. Speaker, because all the constitutional requirements has been satisfied by this House and by the Electoral Commission. I believe that if we should hold these proceedings for today, we are setting a bad precedent.
The House went ahead to swear in the MP-elect.
I,
Lydia Seyram Al-Hassan,
do in the name of Almighty God swear.
Do in the name of God, Almighty God swear.
The Speaker said the minority's action was rather unfortunate.
Why they chose the time of swearing in of a new member to express their problems with the security, for me, leaves much to be desired. We should be very careful the kinds of precedent we are setting. We are all creating paths and precedents which people may refer to.
Meanwhile, the minority in parliament is calling on President Akufo-Addo to demonstrate leadership by ensuring persons involved in the Ayawaso West by-election violence are punished. The minority chief whip on behalf of the group says they will roll out series of actions until a national enquiry is commissioned and the perpetrators are brought to book.
The minority in Parliament embarked on a walk from Parliament House to the police headquarters. Their mission was to have their member, Sam George, who was assaulted on the day of the by-election, write his statement and also to discuss with the Inspector General of Police the need to treat the violence case with utmost importance.
As legislators, we do not only condemn the despicable terror of last Thursday, we are resolved to rise up to our obligation under Article 3.2 and 3.3. To this end, therefore, we reiterate our refusal to recognize the illegitimate winner of that bloody by-election as declared by the incompetent and complicit Electoral Commission.
They lamented 5 days after the violent incident, no one has since been arrested and blamed the president for the violent action.
We want to see the president himself acting in the best national interest, not, partisan or favoritism. You've seen a lot of footage, you've seen a lot of their MPP youth and some of their invisible forces we are being told today that they are members of the national security. This, a national insecurity, that if these are, with a greater respect, hooligans who were fighting and destroying things within their own could just find their way in, that's a dangerous trend and we need to watch.
Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak said the minority would continue to roll out series of actions until a national enquiry is commissioned and the perpetrators brought to book.
He, as the commander-in-chief, knows what to do under these circumstances, and he must act to reassure the ordinary Ghanaian that he is in charge and he did not have hand in this. Because one of the fear is that if he had hand, if he asked other people to do, how will he be able to take action? He should prove to all of us that beyond reasonable doubt that he didn't know about this, they acted without his knowledge, and therefore he's going to punish those that need to be punished.
Meanwhile, MP for Ningo Pram, Sam George, could not write his statement at the police CID headquarters.
The CID had wanted him to give a statement, but upon a second thought, we felt that it is better Sam George takes his time and writes the statement in the office so that he's more relaxed to do so. So the police obliged and gave him a statement form. So when we get to Parliament, Sam George is going to take time and write out his statement and furnish them with, we have some other evidence about the violent behavior of those hoodlums at Ayawaso. So he would submit the statement together with some visuals, some video evidence.
There are a lot more statements about a condemnation of what happened at the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency with respect to the violence at the by-election, the UNDP, and then also following up to that, a former national security minister under the Jerry Rawlings administration, Kofi Totobikwache, has described persons who have counseled President Akufo-Addo on the Ayawaso West Wogon by-election violence as traitors. Now, in a 3-page open letter to the president, he insists any attempt by government to deceive the Ghanaian public on the true state of the matter will not augur well.
These videos have received condemnation from majority of Ghanaians. The topic remains a discussion point in the media for almost a week. Totobikwache, who was on the grounds moments after the gunshots were fired at Labaoleshi, is enraged. He insists the conduct of the government and that of the Electoral Commission betrays the president's legacy. He noted that any attempt by the government to deceive the Ghanaian public on the true state of the matter will not augur well. But an incensed former intelligence couple says the ongoing attempt to gaslight the Ghanaian public will not wash, and it's also terribly short-sighted and myopic. Those of your councillors who are making a public mock of the intelligence of the Ghanaian people Delighting in the recent events and fostering thoughts of repetition betray your good name and are traitors of your legacy. Totobi Kwachi also took a swipe at the Minister of State in charge of National Security, Brian Champon, asking the President to sanction him. The former Minister of State asked the President to listen to the many calls for an independent judicial investigation to be conducted into the matter.
Well, a lot more on that subsequently. Now, a senior justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Sophia Adinira, has warned that the Apex Court would soon license only seasoned lawyers to appear before it. She made this pronouncement on the grounds that some lawyers appear before the Apex Court unprepared, which, according to her, undermines the seriousness of the court. Here's a report by Godfred Tanam.
The court called out the case filed against the state on the decision by the Ghanaian government to go into a security agreement with the United States of America. The decision, which raised many concerns among Ghanaians, found its way into the Supreme Court of the land. 3 separate individuals filed at the Apex Court for the nullification of the agreement. The justices of the Supreme Court, in the line of questioning, realized the difficulty encountered by some of the lawyers in arguing out their case. This, the president of the 7-member panel, Sophia Adinira, said the court will take a cue from Nigeria to soon license seasoned lawyers to appear before the court, a decision she believes will be challenged by the Ghana Bar Association. He added that some of the lawyers appear before the court unprepared, virtually wasting the time of the court. On the substantive matter, the court directed the 3 plaintiffs who filed the cases differently to consolidate their memoranda of issues so that the court can deal with it at once. The court therefore directed the parties to present the joint memoranda of issues within 2 weeks.
The Supreme Court has dismissed a suit filed by the editor-in-chief of the New Crusading Guide newspaper, Abdul Malik Kwekubako Jr., challenging the removal of former chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Charlotte Osei. Godfred Tanam reports that the position of the plaintiff was that the former Electoral Commission boss was not removed based on the performance of her core functions as the EC chairperson.
The editor-in-chief of the Crusading Guide, Abdul Malik Kwekubako Jr., wanted an interpretation of Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution from the court, but the 7-member panel of the court, presided over by Justice Julius Ansah, dismissed the suit on the basis that it raised no issue for constitutional interpretation. The writ also wanted the Apex Court to hold that the Chief Justice's prima facie determination against Charlotte Osei was inconsistent and a violation of Article 1463 of the 1992 Constitution. The 18 reliefs that were being sought by Kwekubako include the declaration that the findings by the Chief Justice that the prima facie case had been made out in respect of 6 allegations contained in the petition for the removal of the former EC boss pursuant to Article 146 of the Constitution, and which allegations were not founded on acts of stated misbehavior or incompetence against Charlotte Osei in the performance of her core functions as chairperson of the EC was unconstitutional, null, void, and no effect. Defending the position of the plaintiff, lawyer Samson Ladi Ayenene insisted the dismissal of Charlotte Osei on stated misbehavior was not part of her core functions. Therefore, the Chief Justice establishing his prima facie case against her was wrong. The court stood on the grounds that as long as she was a commissioner of the EC, her behavior affected her office and could not have been disregarded. A Deputy Attorney General Godfred Adame argued the suit has no constitutional basis and prayed the court to dismiss it. He contended that the plaintiff could only rely on a constitutional review instead of filing a fresh case to dismiss a decision on the Chief Justice's committee.
Let's stay a bit further in court as the Supreme Court has struck out the special prosecutor Martin Alamisi Amidu as a defendant in a suit challenging his age in holding the office of the special prosecutor. Former Deputy Attorney General Dominic Ayini, who filed the suit, argued that the Constitution states the retirement age of all holders of public offices is 60 and not above 65. Here's another report by Godfred Tanam.
A former Attorney General Dominic Ayine in his argument said the true and proper interpretation of Articles 1901D, 1991, 1994 and 295 of the 1992 Constitution, the retirement age of all holders of public offices created pursuant to Article 1901D is 60 years, not beyond 65 years. This, he stated, goes against the age of Martin Amidu, who is 66 years old, indicating by virtue of his age he does not qualify or is eligible to be appointed as a special prosecutor under Section 13(3) of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2018 Act 959. But a 7-member panel of the Supreme Court declared that Martin Amidu was not supposed to be a party to the suit because the Attorney General represents the government in all cases and any decision taken will affect Martin Amidu in person. Counsel for the plaintiff, Tony Leta, argued the suit concerns the age of Martin Amidu, who was brought into the case as a second defendant, a reason he was of the opinion the special prosecutor should be part of the suit. However, Tony Leta submitted that if the court in his opinion does not agree with the position, he will concede and accept the decision of the Apex Court. Deputy Attorney General and Minister of Justice Godfred Yeboah-Dame, for his part, argued the second defendant, Martin Amidu, is not a proper party to the suit, stating that he is an official of the government and for that matter, the Attorney General must solely be a party to the case. Both the plaintiff and the defendant also told the court they had challenges on agreeing on some issues raised on the processes filed, which in the opinion of the court had to be clarified before continuing with the case. But both parties insisted they could not agree with each other after meeting, but the court directed them to fix their differences before returning to the court. The plaintiff, Dominic Ayine, said they will put in effort to come to a consensus.
There is no problem with that. We'll just do as the court has directed, and then we'll be back in court as soon as possible. I think this is a matter of public agency, because Martin Amidu is not the only one in the public sector who is serving in excess of the constitutionally required age. There are a number of people in public agencies also serving in excess of the age of 65.
A lot of activity in court today, but let's move away from the courts now. The forum, comprising 12 labor unions, has given the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNIT, 3 working days to address their concerns on the pass of credit of pensioners. Chairman of the group, Isaac Bampoado, noted the wrongful calculation has resulted in the reduction of pension benefits of contributors. He spoke to our labor correspondent, Daniel Opoku.
The pass credit is calculated after identifying gaps in the transfer of funds of pensioners to the registered schemes. According to the forum, Senate has failed to calculate the pass credit correctly since 2010, when the new Pensions Act 766 was promulgated. It expressed fear pensioners' benefits could be affected from 2020 without proper calculation of the pass credit.
Per our agreement, SNIT are supposed to pay 100% treasury bill on that amount. And as of now, SNIT has not fulfilled that obligation. So that's why we met to take a decision on it.
We sought to find out whether the forum has engaged SNIT on the matter.
We've had several interactions with the ministry, with SNIT, and they promised they will be correcting that anomaly, but tonight has not been corrected. Because what we agreed was that the pass credit as at 1st January 2010, the amount should be determined, and when it is determined, we use 100% treasury bill to calculate the interest, and that one should also be cumulative. As we speak now, SNIT is only using 50% TB rate, and we are not happy with that.
Meanwhile, a source at SNIT says it has set up a committee to deal with the issue.
You're watching News 360. Let's turn to our MTN Vid reports this evening as our citizen journalist, Xavier Ejay, reports on an uncompleted girls' dormitory at Afatime in the Volta region.
This is a dormitory block being constructed for Afatime Senior High School since 2007. About 10 to 13 years now, this dormitory has still standstill and I've never seen completion. This is a girls' dormitory which can accommodate so many students. This led to the use of classroom blocks for dormitories. Reporting for TV3, citizen journalist Ajay Xavier, Afatime, Vane, Volta region.
Remember that you can also send to us your video reports via our WhatsApp number. It's 055-1433-044.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the business report on News 360. Now, government is uncertain about when the processes leading to the takeover of the Electricity Company of Ghana will be completed. This was after the parties failed to meet the February 1 deadline. My colleague Selim Amenya has more in the following report.
New owners of ECG Power Distribution Services were set to take over operations of ECG on February 1. This, however, did not materialize due to some hiccups. Answering questions at a Meet the Press briefing in Accra, Deputy Energy Minister in charge of Power, William Orekwedu, blamed it on the push of the Public Utilities and Regulatory Commission.
I cannot blame the concessionaire alone. We have had some delays also in the tariff setting by the PURC. That has also gone some way to not helping the concessionaire in providing the guarantees.
The Deputy Minister disclosed that a new date will be confirmed at a meeting set for a later date.
We are meeting again in a couple of weeks' time with the concessionaire for the guarantees, and after which a date will be set for the transfer from ECG to the concessionaire.
MD of ECG, Engineer Samuel Boachia-Pia, refuted claims that the handing over will come with an increase in tariffs.
The concessionaire is not taking on any liabilities. So from that perspective, we do not expect that there will be tariff increase or decrease because concessionaire is taking on any liabilities. And we wish to emphasize that the determination of tariffs is a prerogative of the Public Utility Regulatory Commission, and they will handle that expertly.
The board of the Millennium Development Authority, MIDA, approved an extension of time to allow the stakeholders and parties in the private participation of the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, to conclude their consultations and finalize work on some critical aspects of the transaction towards a smooth transfer. They are the government, the ECG, and Messrs. Power Distribution Services, PDS.
Well, away from the energy sector, let's find out what's happening in the banking industry, because Societe Generale Bank says it remains better positioned to undertake better financial transactions after meeting the minimum capital requirement of 400 million cedis at an event to celebrate the successful achievement. Managing Director of the bank, Hakeem Wazani, said this will also mean the safety of depositors' funds.
All commercial banks in the country were expected by the Bank of Ghana to raise 400 million cedis by December 31, 2018. Societe Generale Bank, from a capital of 138 million Ghana cedis beginning 2018, reached the 400 million cedis through a bonus issue and rights issue after shareholders' approval. It was subsequently named as part of the banks which had met the requirement by the Bank of Ghana. Chief Finance Officer Mohamed Ferry explained the process to this great feat.
We started the first step by bonus issue of 97 million Ghana cedis. It was done in April 2018. After that, we planned for a right issue to reach our minimum capital of 4 million, and now our stated capital is 404 million Ghana cedis.
Managing Director Hakeem Ozani says this will enable the bank to deliver robust banking services to its customers.
With this new increased capital, well, our participation in business will be more important. We'll continue to develop our different segment of customers, our individuals and professionals and corporates. We'll continue to improve our solutions and we'll continue to innovate.
Deputy Managing Director Ernest Kweche assured of the bank's commitment to developing and investing into the local economy.
We have actively increased our balance sheet to focus more energy on the local corporates and private sector segments.
Societe Generale Bank began operating in Ghana from 2003. The bank currently has 566 permanent staff, 38 branches, and 200,000 clients in Ghana.
Away from Societe Generale, the Minister of Business Development, Dr. Ibrahim Mohamed Awal, says government will help bring up 3,000 startups this year. He was speaking at the launch of the Graphic Business Tertiary Business Sense competition.
The Intertertiary Business Schools Quiz, which is under the theme Developing Business Minds, the hot seat, is expected to start at the end of February and will run on TV for 13 weeks. 14 tertiary business schools will take part in the competition. Minister of Business Development Dr. Ibrahim Mohamed Awal stressed on the need to infuse entrepreneurial spirit into the youth.
Out of 120,000 young people who graduate from university tertiary institutions in the country, only 10,000 are absorbed in public sector in Ghana, who have the young people between 18 and 30, 60% of the population. If we don't find avenues for them to do self-jobs, we are creating a national security problem for ourselves. That is why last year we introduced the SCI, Student Administration Initiative in secondary schools. And this year, we want to introduce SCI in tertiary in the universities.
Managing Director of Graphic Communications Group Limited, Ato Afo, said the competition is aimed at sustaining businesses.
To ensure that our top-rate business institutions that are represented have access to relevant content forms, so we speak not only in theory, but in context and with relevance to the business ambitions of this country. And we believe that this is going to be an annual. So the partners who have come on board to support us today, we are very thankful to you.
Director of Programs and Partnership at the British Council noted the universities hold the pathway to entrepreneurship and economic growth.
All projects, programs, inventions need theoretical underpinning. But nevertheless, if we only publish or perish, we will continue within the same trajectory we are in. But if the university system will develop a system where research and innovation is targeted at meeting the needs of the community, an ecosystem is formed wherein research is uptaked and transformed to products and services in the market, I think the problem of Africa is half solved.
The competition is intended to bridge the gap between knowledge, entrepreneurship, and job creation.
Well, that's all for the business segment on News360. For more business news stories, do log on to our website, www.3news.com. My name is Pakwasi Asari, handing over to Alfredo Kanse. Thank you, Pakwasi. For business, let's go into the energy sector. Energy Minister John Peter Amewu says government has successfully sanitized the sector. Amid the press series here in Accra, he noted Ghanaians are enjoying affordable and reliable power due to government's relentless efforts in addressing challenges within the sector.
To the energy minister, government met an energy sector with alarming high indebted utilities, high electricity tariffs, poor electricity distribution service, and low energy penetration.
We have reviewed several power purchase agreements serving the country
over 680 million every year for 13 years if those agreements were allowed to continue. We have aggressively reduced the energy sector legacy debt by almost over 80%, as well as instituted a mechanism to address the debt in its entirety, hence ensuring liquidity within the energy sector.
The sector minister said government has attained significant feat in gas commercialization.
We are working assiduously to position our oil and gas sector as the best market for investors by adopting a number of measures. In line with government policy objective to improve transparency in the management of Ghana's oil and gas resources and ensure domestic accountability, Ghana will experience the conduct of the first licensing round for the onward awards of blocks in 2019.
He said the National Liquefied Petroleum Gas Promotion Policy, based on the cylinder recirculation module, is to ensure that at least 50% of Ghanaians have access to safe and environmentally friendly LPG for domestic, commercial and industrial use by 2030.
Now, civil society group Star Ghana wants government to create the enabling environment for active citizenship to be achieved. The acting executive director of Star Ghana Foundation, Ibrahim Tanko Amidu, noted the passage of the Rights to Information Bill is essential for active citizenship participation.
Active citizenship is the ability of individuals and civil society groups to participate in governance by demanding for accountability and transparency on activities of government and the disbursement of donor funds. Star Ghana over the years have been championing the cause for active citizenship participation with the goal of bringing governance to the grassroots.
Active citizenship simply means all of us being interested and being involved in addressing the issues that confront us, whether it is at the community level or it's at the national level. We all should be involved.
The acting executive director at its annual strategic learning event said access to information in active citizenship cannot be overemphasized, making a strong case for the passage of the RTI bill.
For citizens to make an informed decision, they need access to information. So it is something that is required. But we've also seen that between the two parties, there isn't any big difference in terms of their attitude to the passage of the RTI bill. When they are in opposition, they support it. When they are in government, they don't support it. So it is for us to mobilize and push and push and push and push to the point where we're able to make progress.
Executive Director of Civil Society Group Busara Africa, Taka Awori, charged Star Ghana to redefine active participation to include the less privileged.
Advocate for accountability and transparency unless you yourself are accountable and transparent. So you have to walk the talk, and I think many Star partners have started to recognize this. So I am confident that there will come a time when CSOs are a lot more open, but it's a journey. And civil society is not homogeneous. You have all types of organizing. So you will have some that are more transparent and you might have some that are less transparent. But I think the recognition that if you're fighting for accountability, you yourself have to be accountable is becoming more.
Star Ghana last year launched the Star Ghana Foundation to whip up citizens' interest to be active in the country's governance. The Star Ghana Foundation builds on the successful Star Ghana program, a multi-donor civil society initiative established in 2011.
We're still live here on News 360. Remember, we're live on DSTV channel 279 all across the world, on TV3 Ghana, on Facebook. We'll be back with the latest in the world of sports.
All right, so it's now time for some entertainment and lifestyle news with me, Nana Kwedrado, here on News 360. Now, starting off, award-winning Ghanaian highlife and Afrobeat musician Dennis Nana Jamina, a.k.a. Kiddy, says winning awards is not the prime focus as his artist or for him being an artist, but rather the ultimate goal is to treat his fans to good music. The Odo hitmaker, who is now with a new banger, Badman, made his revelations on New Day.
Bad man don't jealous, I won't enjoy, I won't chop life. Jamming I won't live life. I won't enjoy, I won't chop life.
Dennis Nana Dramana, otherwise known as Kiddy, has proven to be a force to reckon with in the Ghanaian showbiz scenes. The silky voice Afropop singer is known for great tunes such as Odo, Thunder, Adiapena, among other collaborations with some A-list artists. His latest single, Badman, is enjoying massive airplay 3 days after its release.
Grind like this, time like this.
I know what these people like to talk about, what these people like to talk about. So whenever I'm making music, I like to bring all of these elements in there so that somebody will hear, oh, this thing. I mean, this Ake Chanka phase at times, the God term, one of those old guys
back in the day.
Yes.
On his appearance on New Day, Kiddy revealed his ultimate goal as an artist is to always entertain his fans with great and timeless music.
I usually do not aim for anything, to be honest. I just make the music and leave the rest of the public and the board. I mean, I'm just responsible for making people happy with my music, but whatever awards come afterwards are not I mean, if I focus on that and I do not get it, then it derails my plan and my vision. But I focus on just making the music and making sure that people actually love it and leave the rest of it.
As the 20th edition of Vodafone Ghana Music Awards draws near, he takes his record label mate Kwame Eugene to bring home the topmost honor for the year.
I mean, if I don't, I hope Kwame Eugene does win.
I see. Why should he get it?
Because Charlie, my bro, this year was rockstar.
I mean, a lot of trouble in the last year.
Yeah, we all caused lots of trouble. But honestly speaking, 2018 was a rockstar year. Yeah.
It was a rockstar year. Interesting.
All right, so congratulations to Kiddy on that one. Classic music. Now moving on to other stories. In 2015, actress Yvonne Nelson led a vigil that "Do So Must End" to pressurize the then government to find a lasting solution to the energy crisis. 2 years into President Akufo-Addo's government, has Yvonne Nelson, a voice for the voiceless, found any cause worth championing? Once again, she spoke to Usuarai.
2015, you led the "Do So Must End" vigil, which had a lot of people showing support, thousands of Ghanaians. You had some celebrities also passing through to be with you. And in the long run, the issue was resolved and a lot of people gave you thumbs up. 2 years into this government, are there any issues that you have noticed that maybe you hope to champion?
You know, as a Ghanaian, as a public figure, someone who has the voice, I believe that, you know, I did the right thing. I was suffering in my house and I said to myself, I'm not going to buy fuel, you know, anymore. It was just too much because I was spending 70 Ghana every night to power my gen. And I realized, oh wow, this is something that Ghanaians are not really happy about. I am happy that I was that voice to Ghanaians.
2 years into President Akufo-Addo's government, is everything okay? Are there no issues to champion, to put your weight behind?
I remember I tweeted, was it last year, that times were hard, you know, because times were kind of, you know, sometimes you go out, you buy something, you realize, hey, that pena mututu price nimo.
Yvonne believes the president has only spent 2 years in government and wants Ghanaians to be a little patient with him.
I believe he still has time, you know, we just have to give him time. We don't have to rush him. It's only 2 years. We need to be patient.
There are issues concerning vigilantism in Ghana. Last week, there were shootouts at Ayawaso West Wogon when they held their by-elections, and a lot of people have had the reason and the cause to believe that everything is not well.
Okay, I'm not cutting you short, but yeah, I'm going to cut you short. I've not been following that story, so there's really little that I can say about that.
So I'm asking the question because I feel and I know that you are a public figure, and so when you speak,
like I said, I've already answered
a lot of people listen.
I've not been following, but yeah, the police should, you know, take action and, you know, be in control.
All right, so that's Yvonne Nelson there for you. And that's how we wrap up entertainment news tonight. My name is Nana Quadrado. There's more news at 3news.com. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. I like it, the color of his tie. I was going to say that, you know. I want to say thank you as always. It's been amazing 60 minutes with you here on NEWS360. My name is Alfred Okonse.
And I'm Natalie Ford. Lots more on our website, 3news.com. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely evening.